Well, how's it going? I know I've been gone for a little while, so I figured I would go ahead and give y'all an explanation. Unfortunately for me, I went and laid on my teeter inversion table and let it flip over a little too fast and gave myself a concussion. So I had to lay around for a little while. I wasn't able to sit up at the computer because I get sick every time I tried. But guess what? I'm back. What do you think about that election? I tell you, fellas, it's awesome. It's just awesome. But I will say this, we're going to have to be careful and not get too comfortable and understand that the war just started. That wasn't the end of the war. That was the beginning. And we need to be reminding all these people that are coming out and saying they're going to put up the guardrails and Trump-proof the administrations and blah, blah, blah. That's insurrection. Yeah. Out of their own mouth. If you remember back in 2016, they said this means war. The resistance begins now. And they're low-key starting to do it again. First, they came out and made a big thing about grandstanding and said, oh, well, we'll honor the elections, blah, blah, blah. They have no intentions of honoring anything. Let's get that straight. These people will abide by no commitment. They don't honor any contract, any deal they've made. They immediately said about subverting it, and just be ready for it. I wanted to bring something to some people's attention. Everybody wants to act like, well, it's going to be authoritarian. Trump's going to have to bring out the death squads to get all these people. No, we don't. No, we don't. I'm going to read you something. I'm going to read y'all something right quick. It'll make it abundantly clear. I asked ChatGPT this. I already knew, but I wanted y'all to be able to see it. What is the statute that makes it a felony to aid or abet persons who are here illegally? The federal statute that makes it a felony to aid or abet individuals who are in the United States unlawfully is 8 U.S.C. 1324 under the Immigration and Nationality Act. This law is often referred to as the Alien Smuggling Statute or Harboring Illegal Aliens Statute. And the reason I know about this is because right before Trump got elected the first time, in my state here in Alabama, they made a declaration. We're going to enforce the law. And suddenly, all the illegal immigrants in Alabama disappeared overnight. Because they told every corporation and employer in the state of Alabama, if we catch you with undocumented workers, we're going to fine you $10,000 a day per person. After the third time we catch you, we're going to take your business and you ain't getting it back. Anybody that's renting a house to an illegal alien, we're going to fine you $10,000 per person. And the third time we catch you, we taking your house and you ain't getting it back. How about that? Seems if you cut off all their goodies and make it where they can't work and they can't rent a place, they find somewhere else to be. It's called self-deportation. And then you've got these what they call sanctuary cities. So I'm going to touch on that too. Under 8 U.S.C. 1324, it is a federal offense, felony that is, to knowingly, 1, bring or attempt to bring an unauthorized alien into the U.S. All them NGOs that's been bringing all these people up here and giving them money, you mean they're committing a felony for every person they're doing it with? Yes. And we're going to start prosecuting. Number 2, transport or move an unauthorized alien within the U.S. If you give one of them a ride in your car, you're committing a federal offense, felony. 3, conceal, harbor, or shield from detection or to attempt to do so an unauthorized alien. Well. What about all these mayors that like to get up and brag that they're sanctuary cities and we're not going to do anything to help you? And you got all these sheriffs saying, no, we're not giving, or not sheriffs usually, sometimes sheriffs, but mostly chiefs of police that are appointed by city councils and mayors, saying we're going to refuse to give ICE any information on the people that we're holding as illegals. Okay, well, what you do in that case? First off, he's got to fire Christopher Wray and Mayorkas and Garland and get some people in there that'll enforce the law. And then you go in there and you get that chief of police or that sheriff and the mayor, and you put them in handcuffs and you frog march them out of there and put them in jail. That's a federal offense, felony. You prosecute them. How many of them you think it would take before they just started turning people over? I'd wager to bet you it wouldn't take more than one or two. The first one I would hit would be Gavin Newsome. I would arrest him and remove him as governor. You know, a lot of people don't realize this, but the president has the authority to remove a governor. I'd remove Gavin Newsome and I'd put him in a federal prison. Just saying. That's how this gets done. And we don't have to deport nothing. They're going to deport themselves. And I'd tell them, I'd say, you've got 30 days to go report to your local ICE and tell them you want to go home. We'll give you a free bus ride to the border, or maybe even a flight home. It's according to how magnanimous he's feeling. But if you haven't turned yourself in, well then say, let's be generous, 90 days. If you hadn't turned yourself in within 90 days and made some type of provisions to get yourself on a bus or a plane to get out of here, or even better yet, just leave, then we're coming for you. But when we come for you, you are going to work in the prison program for about a year before you get to go home. I promise you. This will come to an end real quick. 3, conceal, harbor, or shield from detection. That was the last one I did, so I want to repeat it. Or attempt to do so, an unauthorized alien. 4, encourage or induce an alien to come to, enter, or reside in the U.S. illegally. And that means Mr. George Soros and all his foundation people. Every one of them needs arrested and prosecuted, because that's exactly what they were doing. They were running commercials on the TV and radio stations down there all over South America, telling them, come to America, we'll give you money, come. The penalties for violating this statute are severe, with felony charges that can result in substantial fines and prison sentences, and I'd give them every bit of it. I mean every last mad jack, jot, and tittle of it. What do you think? How about you let me know in the comments what you think the effect this would be. I know what it'd be because I've seen it in action. They self-deport. And I'm going to tell you right now, here in Alabama, it happened within a 48-hour period. It was just, they're gone. And I can tell you this because I was a bounty hunter at the time. And I had warrants for several of them. And I would go to the usual hangouts, the trailer parks and apartments that rented to them. And they were empty. Them people left their furniture 2/3 of the time. They was just out. We couldn't find none of them. Seems a lot simpler now, don't it? Having said all this, I'm going to give you a little summary. If you take and arrest every person that's in violation of these laws, you don't try them there in the jurisdiction where they're committing the crime, because they have complete control of the government there, and they have kept juries and grand juries. As it's a federal offense, you move the venue to, say, Montana, Kansas City, or Oklahoma, Texas, Tennessee. I don't think it would take long for this to come to a screeching halt. And the biggest factor that I don't think I mentioned earlier, I probably should have, but I maybe didn't, is first you cut off all their benefits. They don't get no magic food cards. They don't get no magic card that gives them spending money. Then no Section 8 housing. When all the goodies disappear and nobody will hire them and nobody will harbor them or employ them, that deportation thing just takes care of itself, don't it? Gotta love it when a plan comes together.